We all have loud thoughts, so many of them. The anxious ones, the sad ones, the angry ones, the ones that keep us stuck, small, and playing it safe. And then there are our quieter ones, underneath it all. The one that nudges you, the one that knows. I'm Christina, a clairaudient angel messenger and angel Reiki master teacher. I hear the angels speaking to me in my own voice, and I'm here to help you do the inner work to hear yours. This is Awakening to Your Soul Self. Grab a cup of tea, get cozy, and let's cross the bridge together. Please note, I am not a licensed therapist, counselor, or medical professional. Everything shared on this show comes from personal experience and spiritual guidance. If anything resonates deeply and you feel you need additional support, please reach out to a qualified professional. Hello, lovely souls. Welcome back to the Awakening to Your Soul Self podcast. I'm Christina, and today I have Nicole Pope. I've been following her for a while, and we have a mutual friend. I'm so excited to have her on the podcast. If you don't know who Nicole Pope is, she's an evidential medium, a soul integration guide, and a former Fortune 50 corporate strategist. And if you don't follow on her Instagram, do it because I just love her content. She just helps soul-led women and entrepreneurs kind of step out of the survival mode of life and kind of get back into alignment with spirit and spirit communication. So welcome, Nicole.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you. So with every guest, I always have them start off with telling me a little bit about yourself and your spiritual journey up to this point.
This could take an entire podcast episode. I will synthesize it to the shortened version. So I was actually raised Catholic and I started my career in, I actually went to school for information technology in business school.
So me too.
You too?
That is crazy to me because I grew up Catholic and I do tech support as my day job.
God bless you. God, tech support. Oh, I used to work with that team. That's a tough job. I mean, did you turn it off and on? Is it plugged in?
So I work for a school district, which I think enlightens me a little bit more because of all the energies of the kids and the teachers. But sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, please go. This is the whole point. We are supposed to just hang out and have fun. So you please keep going. Oh, that's so good. So I actually went to school for IT and I started working after I graduated in financial services companies. And I did, because you're IT, I can say this. I did a stint in development, BA, QA, and project management. And right off the bat, I was kind of like working directly with the CEOs, literally within 6 weeks of graduating college of these very large organizations. I've actually spent most of my career for the first 20 plus years of my career working in all of these very large organizations, not necessarily as IT. God, I ran from that as fast as I could. As soon as they started handing me a pager and they're like, you're on call for the weekend, I was like, absolutely not. I am not. I went to college so that I didn't have to work nights and weekends. Was the whole point. So I actually moved from IT over into Six Sigma work, which essentially is like project management, process engineering. It is all about like solving problems for these very, very large organizations. I've been doing that for the majority of my corporate career. So they would throw me in the deep end with these very complex projects at these very, very prestigious organizations and essentially be like, we don't know how to fix this. Nicole, go fix it. So I've always been this problem solver / transformation expert. And it was all going well. Loved my job. Can I just say, like, I loved my job.
Yeah.
I was really good at my job. I got paid really well for my job. It was freaking amazing. I would fly all over the country and all over the world for it. And then during COVID, while I was home working for private equity at the time, my 5-year-old son, who was in kindergarten, remote learning next to me, saw spirit with his eyes in our house. Yes.
Interesting.
So like literal shadow people, he could visibly see the shadow people, Sixth Sense style, in our house. And I laughed it off. I was like, oh, this kid's got a freaking imagination, right? He's like, right. I've been momming and I had a younger girl at the time. So it was just like a crazy time. So I brushed off what he perceived as these shadow people in the house, probably for about 2 years, until it got worse and worse and worse. He wouldn't be alone anywhere in the house. He would sleep with all his lights on. He would have a cover over his head. So you're talking about at the time, a 7/8-year-old. And I'm like, this is not normal for a 7 or 8-year-old to be functioning like this in our own house, which is not an old house. It was built in 81. It is not an old house. I had exhausted all other options. And I finally went to the medium that I knew that I was seeing at the time. And I asked her, could he actually be seeing spirit? Like, could he actually, is this like, I'm just going to, shits and giggles. Is it like, could he? And she's like, oh yeah, he's actually seeing dead people in your house. And I'm like, oh, okay, just suppose, like, what am I supposed to do about that? And she said, you're a medium. Why don't you just go figure it out?
You must have been like, what?
That was my exact response. Your face that you just did. Like it was just like, excuse me. What, say again? And she's like, what, you didn't know? You didn't know you were a medium? And I'm just like, oh my God, what is happening? So I ended up signing up for her 8-week course. Convenient. It's always convenient, isn't it? Is it spirit or is it sales? I don't know at this point, but she had an 8-week course very shortly after we had this conversation. I signed up for her 8-week course, and literally in the first course, the first class I had with her, I sat down, she's like, just go see who's out there. And I pulled in her dead neighbor. She was that, like, as soon as she just told me how to connect, there they all were. And I was like, oh, apparently I have been doing this my whole life. I just never knew.
Interesting.
It's a wild ride.
That's super fascinating.
Like, for someone like me that went to business school, that came from an analytical background, right? Told the executives, like, oh, you can't trust your gut. Intuition's not a thing. Like that, those were words that literally came out of my mouth during my corporate career. And now it's just like everything that I said has now bit me in the ass later on in life. Spirit proved me wrong, that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, but it's kind of interesting because usually about the age 5 is when they're kind of stop seeing things like that. But he kept seeing them even till 7 or 8. Does he still see them now?
I think he could. He has since shut it off. He's 12 now. So it's not cool. Shh. It's not cool anymore that he can see dead people. So he is officially deemed me bullshit. Sorry about all the swears. That's okay. It's the Boston coming out in me. So he has deemed like everything that I do utter nonsense, and he doesn't believe in any of it anymore. He thinks that I'm crazy, and I just laugh at him, and I'm just like, just a reminder, you're the reason I do this work now. So it's really fun. It's especially fun because now I have a daughter, and she's 10 now, and she is full blown witch. I mean, like full blown, works with Hecate, like full, like writes spells, hexes people. Like I'm just, it's a circus in this house. My poor husband.
And is your husband spiritual too, or no?
He is where I got the last name Pope from. He has always believed in something greater than himself. His mother died when he was very young. So he's always known that they are there on the other side. He has 100% believed his mother is still there on the other side. So yeah, he believes it all. He does not understand it, but you're going to love this. He works in insurance, and he's like, well, even if I don't believe it, statistically speaking, you can't be wrong by now.
My gosh.
Yes. Yep.
That's amazing. And both of them, that's amazing, because sometimes I've heard it's usually just one or it skips a generation, but no, you got both.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's been something that has been passed down through my family lineage, but given the Catholic background, we have always suppressed it. It has always been evil. I remember growing up and wanting to buy tarot cards, and it was like, a heck no, you're not supposed to touch those things. So it's just, yeah. So I believe it did come down through my family line. My mother, I suspect, is very into this if she were to get into it. So yeah, it's very interesting that I was born not necessarily knowing that I could do this, but yeah, it continues down the family line. And I think this is the confusing thing that happens with this spiritual work, because I think, it's so funny because I start with my son, who's literally having the sixth sense experience of seeing the dead people. And I think that's how everyone thinks this works. But I am actually a very clair-sentient medium. I have all the clairs, but my primary is clair-sentience. And no one teaches you that the goosebumps are spirit coming through to say hi.
Yes.
Yeah. So once I learned the language, and I'm like, oh, I get it now. Oh, okay. So that's how spirit shows up for me. And then my daughter hears them, and my son sees them. Yep. And then I'm clair-sentient. So I mainly, I for the most part feel them, but I'll get all the clairs by now. But yeah, it's just so interesting how spirit shows up so many different ways for all these different people that work with them.
Yeah. And I had this download a few months ago. People on the podcast are probably like, you already said this, but I'm going to say it again.
I didn't hear it. Say it.
So I had a download a few months ago where God was just like, we've created all these different teachers and all these different modalities because not It's not a one size fits all. Some people are going to like this modality with this specific teacher, or this modality, the same modality with a different teacher. And I got out of it and I was like, that's a really good point, because no wonder why there's so many mediums and so many other types of healers, because it's evolution. It grows, and everybody needs their own little bite of spirit, whatever resonates with them.
100%. And actually, it's so interesting that you got that download. I got a very, very similar download for me in particular, because I don't know if you know human design at all. I don't know, probably.
Yeah, I do stuff with Carly. Yeah.
Carly, perfect. Shout out to Carly. So I'm a 1-3 projector, right? So like I need to constantly learn. I need to constantly explore. I need to constantly uncover things. And so what is so interesting about like my perspective is I actually have a class that teaches all of the spirit communication modalities, because everyone goes after specific modalities, but there's actually a foundation underneath it that is very common to all the modalities in terms of how to communicate with spirit. So it's just interesting that you got that download, because I got a similar download that I'm supposed to be working with all different types of people, regardless of the modality, to show that there's a common thread, and it's not about the modality, it's about the connection to spirit and kind of building that foundation from the bottom up to build the trust. Because if you start with the modality, you usually don't understand how it works, so you don't have the trust built into it.
Right.
So good.
It's so fascinating. There are people out there that say they only have one clair, but I'm like, no, you have all the clairs. They're just some of them are more prominent. So for me, clairaudient, but not in a weird way where I hear voices. It's all my own voice, just more of a whisper. And I do have clairsensing, so I do feel. I'm learning to develop the clairvoyance a little bit, because that just doesn't come. It's really funny because I'm such a visual person, but that does not come to me visually.
Ooh. And and clairvoyance is so interesting, because it can, just like with clairaudience, it can look so different for everybody. Some people see the shadows, right? Some people can kind of see the image, but it's fuzzy. I feel like that's you. Is that you?
Well, like if I were to try to really tap in, the way I describe it is if I close my eyes and try to imagine something, nothing's there. It's just a black screen. So for me, it's kind of like, if they really are trying to get something, it's kind of like a chalkboard. So they kind of like outline or a silhouette of some sort. So I'm trying to work on that, because I'm like, I got it in there. I just got to figure out how to like get it out.
Yeah. And I think that makes total sense. And like sometimes it'll be like a quick, so I've seen the outline part for sure. Sometimes it'll be like a close up. They'll just show you your teeth or an eyeball, right? And sometimes it'll be a picture that is stand still, and then sometimes they'll actually show you like a whole video, a whole movie as well. So really, and it's so interesting because for me, like they'll show me in whatever way it's going to be effective for me to pull the information. And that's like all the clairs, right? They're going to show you, spirit will show you what you need to see in order to receive and relay the information correctly. So your clairaudience, is already so super strong that you don't need a lot of crutch from the other clairs, because like you are able to receive and relay the information. And really is the same way. I wonder if it's like part of the training, or like where the two of you learn from.
Yeah, I don't know. I found that other people in my cohort, experience other things. Okay. So like one saw colors and one, could see more. I honestly think it's kind of just like our path. It's whatever like spirit can tap to first. Like for me, my spiritual awakening was cleaning my room. And I kept having this repeated thought of turning on a podcast, which I've never turned on a podcast ever before in my life.
Yeah. Okay.
And that brought me to Julie, with the training that I did with Carly.
Yep.
And from then on, that's kind of how they got through me that way. So that's how they kept going. Songs, they put lyrics in my head all the time. And then I got to go look up the lyric and find the message.
Yeah. Feel that one big time. Yeah, it is a wild journey with the clairs. It's just, God, it is so interesting the way that spirit relays the information. And then you get to like, you have to be a channeler as well, because you're clairaudient as well. So like it gets to the point where you don't even hear the words in your head. They're just coming out of your mouth and your body. And isn't that a trip? Yep.
Yes. Yep, it is. When I was doing my training, for the life of me, I don't remember what I said, but I said something. She goes, My brother used to say that, and I'm like, I don't know what I just said.
Yeah,
but okay.
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Kind of just
It's
gotta
wild.
like go with what comes out. Is I tell everybody is just you gotta spit it out, because what you overanalyze, because I'm such an overthinker.
Yes.
I'm like, I can't analyze it. I just gotta spit it out, because that's gonna resonate with somebody rather
But
than supposed to resonate with me.
and isn't it is so maybe we can go there because I think it's such a valuable topic. Like the analysis side of our brains, especially both of us coming from that IT corporate
Yeah.
background, like it is so hard to push out of the way. This is like the third conversation I've had this week about the analytical brain versus the well, it's like divine masculine versus divine feminine brain, right? It's so interesting. Actually, I was getting interviewed on another podcast, and it was so interesting to have the conversation because she asked how, and I would love your answer. I feel like I'm interviewing you. I'm sorry, Christina. So I would love to hear what your answer is, but like for me, she asked how I got moved my analytical brain out of the way to do this very like divine feminine work. It was so interesting because I said I actually didn't. Like when I started my journey, especially with evidential mediumship, I did not get my evidential or get my analytical brain out of the way, because what I ended up doing is tracking and recording every single reading that I did. When was it? Who was I working with? Like, well, who was my client / practice sitter, right? Like how many spirits pulled through? What was the relationship? What were the, how many pieces of evidence did I get right? What were the primary pieces of evidence I got wrong? Right. And I literally like tracked and trended all of my readings probably for the first 6 months so that I was very crystal clear on what I was good at, what I was not good at, like was what I needed to improve. But also at the same time, when you start this journey, you can, I'm going to say it, like you feel like you're a little crazy. You feel like you're making everything up. I still, several years into this work, I still feel like the things that come out of my mouth, I'm making up all the time. So having the data to actually prove that I was right, not only was I was right like 92% of the time. I was like, okay, like that would like, and I think the analysis part of this is so critical to build the trust with spirit. And then eventually they're going to make you throw it out the window because you have to trust spirit, and they're going to start having you deliver evidence that the sitter can't take right away. You start to trust that, eventually that no is going to either turn into a yes, or that I don't know is going to turn into a yes. So you have to trust it. It's such a trip to try to like meld the analytical mind, which I think is what is needed in this work, if I'm honest with you, to like this divine feminine surrender spiritual modality.
100%. And I do similar as you. I write down as I'm doing the session. If they're virtual, I record with their permission. That way I could always listen back. I have found, I want to ask you, I don't know if you're still doing that work, but I do tech support during the day. I have found that when I'm in my tech mode, it's almost like a switch. Like I don't like really tap into spirit as much. I have to like kind of force myself. I have to be like, all right, let's take a few deep breaths and see what comes through. But other than that, like people ask me, they're like, do you hear spirit during the day? I'm like, no, because my data brain is on like over it. If you're ready to start quieting the loud thoughts and connecting with your soul self, I have a free gift for you. My Home on the Other Side meditation is available right now at ChristinaAngelMessenger.com. It's my way of helping you begin your journey. The link is in the show notes. Does that make sense to you?
100%. I pondered this a lot because people always have that preconceived notion that you're walking around wide open, like connecting to spirit all the time. And like, can you? Sure. Is exhausting in your energy, and is it best for your psychic hygiene? Absolutely not. Don't do that. And so I think you're absolutely right. I think there is kind of a switch that happens when you are kind of working your day-to-day job versus connecting with spirit. And like I do it with my kids. I can very clearly, and I love if you can notice this too, Christina, like I can very clearly feel when I'm like done with my, I'm going to call like my muggle tasks in the day. And then I can literally feel my energy powering up or powering on so that I can connect to spirit. But like it stays off when I'm not working, because spirit wants me to conserve my energy. There is no point to me always having one foot in the spirit world and wasting all that energy. They respect the fact that we are humans here having a human experience, and they will make sure that we are fully connected when we need to be, but otherwise, like, go live your life, go have that free will experience that we are supposed to have.
Yeah, same. You know, I'm an empath as well, so I'm like really cognizant about picking up other people's energies because I'm in the school district. So there's a lot of different energies and personalities that I can't really put my toe into the spirit world during the day because I could be picking up the wrong information, picking up the wrong people, and I'd rather just keep it separate for now. Unless like spirit's really up and forward. Like, for example, when I was first starting, my best friend, who happened to be my boss, her father passed away years and years and years ago, but I knew because we grew up in the same town. And I was meditating that morning, and he came right through. He's like, "You're going to tell her today because I've been trying to get a message and you haven't been relaying it." And I'm like, "We're not due to work together." Let me tell you, I went into work. She showed up in the same room. I got very, very warm. I don't know about you, but I get very warm. Very warm. I'm always cold, so I know that's like a huge indicator for me. So I turned around because I haven't told her this yet. And I'm like, I'm gonna sound crazy, but your dad is here and he's really nudging me to tell you these things. And she took it well. But that's really the only time that I've really stepped into it because he was so persistent. I'm like, all right, I can't ignore it because there is a message here that she needs to hear today. If it, if it was like a basic, not a basic message, I don't want to say basic message, but like
I love you.
Urgent, yeah. Then he would have not been as persistent.
Right.
So, and then from there on out, it just opened. I like text her every once in a while now, and I'm like, here, he has a message.
I love that.
So yeah. It's hard and I don't know that I would want it on all the time, if I'm honest, because I don't want to like always hear spirit if it's not messages for me, if that makes sense. Like that's why mediums, they have certain hours that they set. And because they need a break too, we need to fill up our cup again.
Yes.
I think sometimes the movies and the shows, they get it all wrong because we don't walk around all open all the time because it's just, we would be so drained by an hour.
I mean, we all know that like Teresa Caputo does not just walk into the deli and being like, who's the man? Who's the man? Right? She doesn't do that. Everyone that appears on any of those TV shows has to sign a waiver. They have to sign like a legal liability release form. Like this is how television works. So no, I think you're absolutely right. And I love that. God, I love that your team like really keeps the spirits at bay just because of what you're telling me and like where you're working. I mean, I'm sure that you are bombarded if you were to open up by like grandparents and like, like cousins and aunts and uncles all the time to like say hi to the kids. Obviously not ethical. So I love that you're following that. But I just also love that your friend, your boss, friend/boss's dad, you said dad, right? Yeah. Like push through, but also like notice that was for the benefit of you too. And so like, don't you know that your guides like shoved him through as well to make sure that you realized that you are capable of this, you can trust this. And I think this is where I tend to lean with not being open all the time, but I trust that when somebody appears in my energetic space, when I am supposed to be off, like there is probably something that needs to be said or something that I'm going to greatly benefit from, as well as like a learning experience. It is like playing ethical like jump rope sometimes with this work. And it's so interesting because there's so many of those really unclear or what we think are very, very clear ethical lines, like never predict somebody's death or never tell them when somebody's going to die. Literally last week when I'm going to teach my mediumship students all about ethics and like, don't do this, spirit literally broke every single rule I was about to tell my students. But it was to the point where the ethics they made me realize are for us as humans because we don't think it's socially appropriate. So just to give you an example, right before the class, I was doing a reading for a client and She has been taking care of her elderly grandfather or something like that. The grandmother had already passed. There's no one else taking care of this family member but her. So the grandmother came through to essentially say, don't worry, I'll be taking him soon.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not supposed to tell you that. But I just did because it literally just channeled right out of my mouth. I'm like,
Word vomit.
I'm not supposed to tell you about impending death, but here we are. And I'm telling you that he's probably going to be gone within the next 8 weeks. Please don't worry about it. Please know that he is deep in dementia. Please know that, like, honestly, he doesn't know that you're there. So stop trying to bend over backwards to like rush through everything and make yourself stressful just to show up with him, not to recognize you. He knows that you love him. He knows that you're there. Like, so don't worry about it. Just spend the next 8 weeks showing up when it feels good for you to show up. And I was just like, I'm not supposed to tell you any of this.
It was meant to come out. I always say, whatever spirit is meant to come out, it will come out. Like, even if you block yourself, I find like in sessions where if I didn't grab the message, they'll spin it around again and again and again
until you get it right.
Until I get it right, or I actually say it.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm like, oh, that's what I was supposed to say. And they're like, yeah, if you just said it the first time, we would have not repeated ourselves. And I'm like, I know, spirit, but over analyzing brain over here.
You want to understand. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and that is a normal state of being because we want to understand the full message. We want to understand the context. We want to make sure that it lands for the client. And that is probably the hardest part of this entire journey, as I'm sure you know, is it's not about us. It's not about our ego. It's not about whether our clients feel good or have a great experience, which is the total opposite of what we learn in business school, right? It's all about us being a clear channel and showing up and doing and saying what spirit wants us to do and say.
100%.
That is old. I mean, that takes several years to master. It's so tough.
Did your spirit team send you a sign or message this week? I want to hear about it. Submit it through the Soul Self template on my website for a chance to win a free private 15-minute session with me. One listener is chosen every month. Details are in the show notes. Don't miss your chance. 100%.
I love it.
When you work with spirit, because I'm curious with your clairsentience, do certain like family members have different frequencies for you? Do they feel different?
This is something so yes, the short answer is yes. And this is something that spirit is having me go really, really deep on right now because I don't have the full picture of all of this, but yes, everything has, just like our fingerprints, a unique vibrational energetic frequency to it. So yes, I think everybody has that unique energetic fingerprint. It is like every single time, not only my family shows up, I'm able to determine exactly who it is just by the frequency that I'm feeling, not only with my departed loved ones or my guides, but also with the departed loved ones of my clients. When they come through, I'm just, as soon as they come through, there's a few departed loved one clients that just keep coming back to me. And I'm just like, hey, buddy, what are you doing here? Great to see you today. Right. And it's really interesting because it's not like I see it's not like my clients, their loved one is always around me or booking a lot with me. Right. Some of these people I might have worked with once, but their loved one keeps coming back to me. So it's really interesting because yes, I think for me, for clairsentience, everyone has a unique energetic fingerprint, but also at the same time, before I realized their unique energetic signature, I would have like a symbol in my head for my own departed loved one. So like my aunt would show up as an orange, because she lives in Florida and orange is my sign for Florida. My grandfather would show up as like an ice cream sandwich because that's what he used to sneak to me when I was a little kid and in his house, right? He would sneak me in. So as soon as I saw an ice cream sandwich in my head, there it was, right? And the same is true, I think, for all of the clairs. There's all these different ways your loved ones can use these signature things, elements, sounds, smells, that allow you to know that that's exactly who's showing up. And actually that's a really fun part of this development space. Cause a lot of mediumship teachers teach that you can't talk to your own departed loved ones. It's wild to me. It's wild to
That's
me.
insane because that's like 90% of who I talk to.
Yes, it's interesting because I think this is like the energetic frequency thing that I overanalyze in my brain all the time. I think that when we connect with our own departed loved ones, we're not connecting with them necessarily at the mediumship frequency. We tend to connect with them more at the spirit guide frequency, which I think for
Yeah.
all of us is a little bit easier to access. I don't know why. It just is. And so when a lot of these teachers are talking about you can't do evidential mediumship on your own family, I understand the thought process because it's very hard to independently pull in a soul, get evidence, and get a message when you're kind of sitting there by yourself. To that, I say you can absolutely do that. So if you feel like there is somebody that is near you and you know how to connect to spirit, connect to them and read them just like you would with a random energy, random spirit, right? See what evidence comes in. I feel like this is an aunt. I feel like they lived in Florida. I feel like there's pink flamingos associated with them. Shed them all over our yard. You can do that and be like, oh, okay, I know exactly who this is. And then that sets you up for success. And then you can actually work with them to say, what is the sign or symbol that you want to use so that when you come in, you don't have to do this again. So I know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've said on the podcast before is there's not like a one dictionary, sign dictionary, because, and I think Teresa Caputo said this years ago, is that every sign is different for everybody. So you can't just say an orange is Florida because an orange might mean something different to somebody else. So for me, because I'm so clairaudient, I'll hear like dad, mom. Sometimes I'll get like an image of them, like a quick, or I'll get a memory and I'll be like, all right, they're bringing through this person, a memory because this resonates with that person. So it's very cool how spirit uses our own experiences to bring through messages as well.
Yeah, I don't get though. Like this is me being me and complaining about everything ever. I don't understand why, and maybe you know the answer. Maybe this is just one of those giant black boxes we'll never understand. Like why can they not pull out the stuff that is already in my like life dictionary, the things that I've experienced, like all of the like there I have traveled all over the world. I've done all these different things and yet like they show up with the most asinine sign or symbol for something. I'm just like, really, you used that for this when I've already experienced that entire thing that you're talking about?
That is a great question. I don't know that I have the answer, but I feel like it's kind of like a blend of what they know and then what we know, and it's like a little bit of a mush.
I think you're right. I think you're right with that. It's just working with spirit is this test of like patience and trust.
That's a big one.
To your point, like trying to figure out the common signs and symbols, even when you have them, not every spirit uses them
right
in the most effective way. I think it's just, God, it's a roller coaster working with them. I love it, but it's something else.
Yeah, I think it's also like the quote unquote experience of the spirit on the other side. For example, my high school cheerleading coach passed away a few weeks ago. She came through right away, which I've never had that happen before. So I texted her daughter because we were both on the cheerleading team growing up. I said, I know this is going to sound weird. I know you don't know what I do, but she came through and I visually saw her jumping up and down in heaven. So she's not, because she passed away from cancer.
Yeah.
Her second round of cancer, unfortunately. And I'm like, I see dogs with her. And she writes back, she goes, that's what I needed to hear today. She was grieving.
Yeah.
I've heard stories where it's like, spirit takes a certain amount of time to go through their life review and to learn how to communicate with us. But it was a matter of a day. And I was like, either she just like already went through her life review and already knows, because I usually don't tap into spirit, like kind of that new, I'm not that one to say newborn, but you know what I mean? Like very fresh into the other side.
Is that a Twilight reference right there?
I didn't try to.
I'm sorry, that was
maybe
my daughter.
Something for somebody.
My 10-year-old is obsessed with Twilight. Sorry, I had to ask. I'm watching this movie nonstop. No, I love that because they can come through. Like the fact that we think that they have to go through this whole process that takes, and a lot of really good mediums will say it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months for departed loved ones to come through. That's what I've heard, 3
months.
Nope, they come through right away.
So she was proven to me. Yep. I was like, all right, I got you.
Yeah, I had one of my friends, very similar story. One of my friends lost her friend's like childhood mom or whatever it was. It was the same thing. She was literally sitting with me at a table one day and she's like, I don't know if I should go to the wake for her tonight. Like the woman that had died. I don't know if I should go to the wake for her tonight. I haven't been around that family in a really long time. It's really weird. And here comes that mom and immediately saying, you don't have to go if you don't want to. And I was just like, well, she's here. She's telling you don't need to go. But if you do want to go, it's not going to be weird. It's going to be appreciated. So yeah, I mean, there is no delay. The delay from what I've seen has been related to the capacity of the sitters or the loved ones to like receive the reading, because they don't want to come and interfere with the process of grief, with the process of deep sadness, right? Because if they're not able to receive the message clearly, unbiased, then that departed loved one will not be coming through in the reading. I have seen that consistently across many of my clients, is that if they, regardless of how soon they passed or how long ago they passed, if they are showing up expecting to hear a certain thing, expecting to have this be the message in the reading, expecting like all these, all the expectations can kill the vibration of a reading. I've seen loved ones just decide not to show up because they're just like, she's not ready to hear what I'm ready to say today. So it happens.
Yeah. And I think that's important because, you can wish for all the loved ones to come through in a session, but it's really the ones that need to get that message across. I always say, towards the end, I'm like, was there somebody that you wanted to hear from? And they might say yes or no. And I might be, well, it depends on if they have the message or not. They might come the next time, or maybe you just weren't ready to hear their message. There's so many different scenarios. I think for people, it's hard when you go in with an expectation to hear from that one person and to not give that to them. I've learned to say that, unfortunately, I can't just pull down all the spirit and pick and choose who I want to give information from. It's who you actually need to hear from today.
Yeah. It's so important. It really is so important. And I think, thank goodness we're moving away from this, but I think a lot of the earlier versions of evidential mediumship, or maybe I'm going to say the newborns for those ones that are new over there, the newer mediums. I think that the newer mediums and the people newer to this work going to mediums, I think there's a lot of false expectations on what mediumship is. A lot of people treat it as entertainment. I mean, let's be honest, I have to put it on my website that this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a sideshow that essentially is like, prove to me that my loved ones are with me by playing this like guessing game. It's so interesting because that type of mediumship has never, ever felt right to me. This isn't about proving life after death. I actually say this in a lot of my demonstrations because I'm just like, who here, you can be skeptic, but who knows that their loved one is on the other side waiting for them? Everyone raises their hand. I'm not here to prove this to you anymore. I'm now here to relay the messages that you need to hear to help you where you are in your life, whether that is helping you heal from grieving, whether that is to help you go through whatever you're going through right now, whether that is advice or feedback or love that you need to hear on the other side to keep you motivated to keep going. So it really shifts the dynamic and honestly, the power dynamic of the readings away from the client or the sitter or whoever's receiving that reading, because I think that's where we think a lot of the power lies as people that are newer to this work, that like, if the client is not happy, again, going back to business school, then it's not a good reading. A lot of mediums are still all messed up in the head about that and have these nervous system reactions when they think the client didn't get the reading that they wanted or they needed. Shifting the dynamic to say, no, this is not about like what you want. This is all about what you need to hear in this current moment based on the universe who knows all and sees all and like wants the best for you. It's totally different.
Beautifully said. 100%.
So many rants. I'm so sorry.
Well, like I said before we started recording, I swear that spirit wants certain things to come through because I didn't get through any of my questions that I had.
Oh, perfect. So, cool.
That's awesome. The last question I always ask everybody though is, what do you want listeners to walk away with from this conversation?
Ooh, I'm gonna open this one up to spirit. Yes. Let me see if there's a specific message that they want me to come through. Oh God. Yep. Do you have tarot cards in front of you?
I don't.
Okay. I'm seeing
my cards are upstairs.
All right. I'm seeing 3 cards getting pulled. So let me do 3 cards really quick. Not those. These. Okay. Don't mind all the sounds as I do this. When I open up to spirit, there is something. Oh, there it is. Dun, dun. There it is. Okay. I love it. I have This is just like, I'm pretty sure it's like an AI deck that's off Amazon. It's called the Breakthrough is Coming. Your Breakthrough is Coming. It's really cute. I like it. And the 3 cards that pulled up were Own the Room, The Risk is Worth the Reward, and Speak Your Dreams Out Loud.
That's like everything we talked about today.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. So let me see if I can pull together like a central message that sums up everything that we're talking about. Okay. So this is going to be a little bit off the woo deep end, but the reality that you exist in is the vibrational frequency in which you agree to live your life in. So what that means is that if you agree, or if you decide consciously to live in a vibration where you are an eternal victim, where everything happens to you, not for you, then you will have a life that reflects that inner vibration that you were setting for yourself. Likewise, if you decide that you want to live in a frequency of trust in the universe, of trust in divine timing, of trust that you were here for a greater purpose, to fulfill the lessons of your soul, to do the destiny that God has placed on you, then your reality will be reflected in those core beliefs that you have set within the frequency of yourself. And so this is a message for all of your listeners that the law of correspondence, the law of attraction, these are all real vibrational frequencies and rules in which you can live by, that allow you to understand that your inner state, the inner vibrational frequency that you decide you want to exist in, whether that is high vibration, low vibration, there is no judgment on what vibration you choose, but the inner vibration in which you are treating yourself in is going to be a direct correlation to the outside vibration in which you experience your life, the world, and everything within it. And so this is a precipice, a reflection point, a journaling prompt for you, for listeners, to say, what vibrational frequency, what life do you want? Because if you want a life that is so much better than you could have ever imagined, all you need to do is set the belief, the intention of the higher vibrational frequencies that allow you to achieve those goals, and the universe will take care of the rest.
Beautiful. That was pure like channel right there.
Yep. Sounds like we have some listeners that might need to step up and believe the things that they think or believe the things that they want to be real, and the belief will make them real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, beautiful. And they mentioned divine timing, I think, is crucial, because if you asked me 5 years ago if I would be doing this right now, I'd be laughing in your face. With my spiritual awakening in 2022, I kept coming home because it was after COVID, and the school finally went back full on normal.
Mm-hmm.
I kept coming home, and I'm like, God, I love what I do, but I don't feel like that's my higher purpose anymore. I kept asking that for months. That's when I heard that I needed to listen to the podcast, and then that got me into Julie's class.
I love that.
So it's all divine timing.
It's amazing.
And it's our human brain in our society where we say, oh, we're at this age, we should be here, or we should be there. But it's really spirit. They give us the little breadcrumbs, and we have our free will, and we say yes, and we take the breadcrumb, or we don't. And it's all, I had this download, I'll say it again, even though I've said it on the podcast before, is where, like I told you, I don't see much, but I saw this so crystal clear, where I saw roots on the ground in a tree trunk with all these different branches. And the tree trunk is your divine path, but all the little branches are all your little free will choices there. So you can take as many detours as you choose, but it's all still interconnected to your divine path and your divine purpose.
I love that. Wow. That's so much prettier than my analogy for that one.
Oh, what's your analogy? I don't know.
Spirit shows it to me like a muscle. Do you know what what a muscle looks like? So it starts it starts really thin, right? All the muscles are connected as it goes through your major joints. And then as you move away from that joint, your muscle gets bigger, right? Like your bicep gets bigger, and then you hit another joint, it gets small again. So the way they show it to me is you have all these paths, all these muscle striations or strands within your path, but ultimately with your soul purpose, you end up on the same milestones. So it doesn't matter what path you take, you end up towards the milestone that you're meant to hit. So like life is like a whole bunch of little milestones.
Right.
And you have free will within those milestones. But like, I was meant to have my kids, right? I was meant to marry my husband. I was meant to do this work around age 40. Like these were all things that were destiny for me. And so I get to do what I want in the meantime. But then as soon as I went off the pill, I was pregnant before my first period.
Wow.
Immediately pregnant with my son. I was like, okay, apparently he's been waiting to come by. Got it.
He's waited. He's like, got it. Okay.
Yep. So it's just, so I think there are these milestones that we create within our soul plan within our soul contracts. And it's not about time. This is where the timing thing comes into play, because it's not about I'm supposed to reach it by 40. It's like I'm going to hit a certain milestone. And if I do the steps that I'm supposed to do, then I hit the milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
So, Nicole, where can people find you in your work?
So the easiest is just like the one-stop shop on my website, mediumnicole.com. On there, I have one-on-one readings. I just simplify it. I have like mediumship if you want to connect to departed loved ones and or living loved ones, pets, any of that thing. I also have the sovereign soul, which is more of your soul path and guidance that can go any which direction, whether it's Akashic, shamanic, ancestral, lineage. Like we could connect to your guides, your loved one, that is all about you and your path. And then there's classes and group and mentoring and everything out there, but everything is on my website, including my social media.
Perfect. Well, go follow her on Instagram because you got really good content in there.
Thank you, Christina.
Of course. Thank you for coming. Thank you for chatting.
This was so much
fun. I love your energy, by the way. Your energy is like I
love your energy too. This was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. I just love that Spirit had me pull those 3 cards for this, just to summarize everything that we chatted about. It's just Spirit is the best. Spirit is the best.
That was like the best, like Spark Notes version of an episode.
Yep. 100%. Trust in Spirit, everybody.
Yes, Spirit just works in miraculous ways. Thank you again, Nicole.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lovely souls, have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. Quieter voice, your intuition, your angels, your soul self. It's always there. Keep doing inner work to find it. Today's episode resonated, and hit follow or subscribe so we can keep crossing the bridge together. I'll see you next time.